Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel, and I'm here to talk about Arrow, episode 506, titled So It Begins, which premiered Wednesday, November 9th, 2016 on the CW. Guys, what an episode. First off, my rules for these videos. I'm recording this tonight. I'm watching the episode for the first time, so you are getting my first genuine reaction to the episode, as well as any predictions that come from it, which is kind of why I make these videos to begin with, to share my thoughts with you guys. So, those are the things I only own. Otherwise, all photos using this video are usually from Google anyway, so there's that. I'm not making any money off these videos, so this is just made for fun, because as we know, more time you spend thinking about something, your thoughts will alter about it, or if you talk about it with someone, you will get different perspectives, changing your views on how you first initially thought about it. So this just to keep track of what I originally thought. And also, another reminder I should add, I haven't read the comics, so if there's anything that the comics hint about where these characters are going to go, I have no idea about that. All my thoughts, theories, and predictions are based off what I see on the screen itself. With that said, let's start this 10-minute clock and let's begin, guys. So something new that we learned in this episode. So let's talk about Prometheus. So in this episode, the names of the victims are anagrams to names from Oliver's list from back on the island, which basically, it's a list of people who were failing the city, who had something to do with the undertaking, and Oliver has admitted that he has not seen that list in 4 years. So I guess after season 1, the list was just not something he looked at anymore. So there's that we learned. Also, Prometheus's weapons, like the throwing stars that he used, Felicity found out they are actually melted down from the metals from Oliver's arrows over the last 4 years, which gives a very disturbing news for the team that Prometheus has access to the SCPD's evidence locker where they keep up all of Oliver's arrows over the last 4 years. So there's that. Also, it looks like Prometheus has shown a few tricks of him appearing and disappearing from impossible places, like a moving subway train. Very similar to how Damien Darhk used to disappear and reappear in the most randomness of times. So is that. And we have a possible suspect as to who Prometheus might be. And I will bring that up in just a few moments. But moving on though, the team dynamic that we get in this episode for Team Arrow is that Oliver and Diggle want to keep the intel about Prometheus's killings they want to keep them in the original team, which is Oliver, Diggle, and Felicity, until it is absolutely necessary for the recruits to be called in. They kind of don't want a repeat of Church capturing one of the recruits, and they don't want that to happen again. Felicity disagrees with this, but she listens to them. Eventually, the recruits do find out about this this hierarchy, I guess you could say it, and they're not really pleased that they're only let in the know when it's absolutely necessary. They also find out about Oliver being the Hood, the Arrow, and the Green Arrow. Well, the whole city thinks that all three of them have been different people, not Oliver masquerading as all three with a different name. Recruits have the mixed emotions about that, especially when they found out that since Oliver was the Hood and as the Arrow, who has done kills in the past, they don't know how they feel about dealing with the serial killer. When beforehand, as the Green Arrow, it doesn't really have that. He didn't really have that killing connotation until after he killed Damien Darhk. So there's that. Moving on to flashbacks, though, we see Anatoly teaching Oliver how to make a bomb, and we find out that Oliver failed high school chemistry twice during this little moment. Also, we see Oliver meeting Konstantin Kovar under unwanted circumstances. The fact that Oliver was tied up when the man introduces himself. So there's that. Some tidbits you find out in this episode as we move on is the fact that Felicity tells Billy that she works with the Green Arrow. He's kind of shocked at the moment, but then he's kind of forgiving of her, the fact that she's actually doing something to help save the city in that respect, instead of her being just an outward criminal. It had a little bit of touch and go there. He did call her a criminal at one point, though. So I'll move on, though. Find out that Captain Lance, or Deputy Mayor Lance now, is still drinking. He's in this self-loathing spiral. He's late for work. He's sleeping in when he's not supposed to. He refuses to go to AA meetings despite Thea's insistence that he does. So there's that. He seems like he might be blacking out too at some point. Another tidbit. Reporter Susan Williams is still expecting Oliver's personal phone call to her. He continues to deny to anybody who says it that he is going to pursue things with her. Lance, Thea, and Felicity all keep making reference to the fact that something is going to happen between Oliver and Susan. So there's that. So moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, and I really think it's the fact that at the very end of the episode, they are hinting to the fact that Deputy Mayor Quentin Lance is Prometheus. Because during Oliver's confrontation with Prometheus, or his Prometheus' confrontation with Evelyn Sharp, aka Artemis, in the subway, he somehow manages to get his arm. He got cut on the arm for some reason. I first thought it was Artemis that got the cut, but apparently Prometheus got the cut. And then later on, when Quentin Lance is waking up from one of his alcohol-induced blackouts, we find him with a very similar cut on his arm as well as one of the throwing stars on his table. So it is looking like, well, it's hinting to the fact that Lance is Prometheus, which kind of makes sense. But it also looks like they're going to make it that he blacks out from all the drinking, which has him going into Prometheus. He does have access to the lockup to get all of Oliver's old equipment. It's also possible that this could be coming on to the fact that Lance could have a deep-seated resentment towards Oliver and how he still blames him for Oliver taking away both of his daughters, Sarah on the gambit, causing him to have 5-6 years worth of grief over losing that daughter, as well as also losing Laurel after she got involved with him in his arrow business. So there's that. Also could be the fact that Sarah left to go deal with more vigilante rescues. Could have Lance also resenting Oliver in that aspect. So it could be that part of him is dredging it from his subconscious to have him attack Oliver while masquerading as Prometheus. So it could be a whole bunch of things though, but it really has me thinking about when Malcolm Merlyn drugged Thea into killing Sarah back in season 3. She had no idea that she had killed her. She was under his influence, very submissive to his orders. So I'm thinking it might be something similar to this, where like drug-induced effect of him not realizing what he's doing blacking out. I don't know, but I was so shocked at that final scene that our Quentin Lance would be this Prometheus character. So there's that. So let's move on to the top 3 favorite moments I had of this episode. First one has to be Oliver, Diggle, and Felicity working together as the original Arrow team. Yes, the recruits might not like it, but I love seeing the 3 of them meshing together again, like we got back in season 1, like we got back in season 2. I really like that we got back to that. Kudos for that. I'm loving it, even though it kind of got the recruits angry. But still, you can't mess with the original team. I'm letting you know that right now. Next favorite moment I have is the fact that we got so many connections back to season 1. The anagram names of the victims linking back to Oliver's list from his father. The fact that we got the old weapons, old arrows being melted down to create Prometheus's throwing stars. The fact that we had all this being dredged up from Oliver's past from season 1. Would he return? I love that, especially when we're gearing up towards the 100th episode that's happening in 508. I'm loving it. Loving that we're going back to the root of things and we're having all these things brought up and definitely see. And because of that, we actually got to see comparisons between the Oliver that returned from the island to the Oliver that we see now, and how much of a difference, especially that Diggle talks about, saying that there is a difference. You have changed. Don't make them think that you haven't. And then Oliver admitting the fact that he is changing. It's a slow process, but he's still trying to make the best of things. So I really like that for sure. The last favorite moment for me has to be the apology conversation between Oliver and Evelyn Sharp. I really liked that, especially since Evelyn was so angry at Oliver, which found out that he was pretty much a hypocrite, how he was doing all these killings back when he returned, when he told her not to kill to avenge her parents' death. It was really great to see them actually sit down and talk and have Oliver actually apologize to Evelyn for deceiving her in that sense, and then for Evelyn to apologize to Oliver in the sense that she reacted a little more harshly, not giving him the chance to explain his side of things. But anyways, that whole exchange between the two of them, I really like that. So I'm glad it happened for sure. And the fact that it wasn't interrupted by anybody, they came to an understanding on their own without a third party involved. So I really like that as well. Moving on though to top 3 peeved moments. First one was the festival panic that happened. Susan Williams had reported about the throwing star killer. They don't have Prometheus's name on record yet, being on the loose in Star City, and then because of that, everyone at this festival had thought that Prometheus was there, so they started being frantic, running, trying to get to safety, and then you got these guys who have their own weapons trying to protect themselves by shooting at whoever they thought was Prometheus. And so the Arrow team has to come in and save them and everything. The one thing I really hate about this part was the fact that this one shooter said, I had the right to protect myself. Yeah, sure, I get that. Protect yourself by hand-to-hand combat. But seriously, if you're in a situation where there's possibly a shooter in a crowd, are you really going to take out your own gun and start adding to the chaos by firing some shots yourself? No, you most likely go run and hide to safety or get the hell out of there and let people who are actually trained for that situation to come in and stop it. You don't add to the chaos. That's just going to cause more people to get hurt. That's going to cause an even bigger chaos. And it's just, no, I don't understand it. If you're going to ever help in a fight, you try to minimize the amount of damage instead of creating such a bigger one. I just hated that line as like, if you have the right to protect yourself, then yes, I understand that. But usually to protect yourself, you go run and hide. You go secure your own safety. It's usually self-preservation comes out first. You're not going to create more panic. You're not going to go and make things even bigger than they're supposed to be. So it's just, that's what I was thinking in that moment, because it really just bugged me on the fact that people who say they have the right to protect themselves, and yes, they're good intentions, I get that, but most of the time you're gonna make things a lot more worse because you're going into a situation that's just uncontrolled and it's just gonna get more out of hand. But that is what I thought about it. Kind of really sucked, but at least the Arrow team were able to get in there and kind of diffuse the situation, since Prometheus wasn't even there to begin with. It was the fact that everyone panicked when they thought they saw something fishy going on. So there's that. Another thing I did not like was Susan Williams. I still do not like her. I do not like the fact that she was expecting Oliver to call her. Again, unprofessional to begin with, especially when she was pretty much still on the clock as a reporter. So, and he was on the clock as a mayor. It's just like, no, you don't do that. I don't like her at all. I mean, she's doing a fantastic job, the actress, with the character. I just do not like the character at all. So there's that. So what will I remember most when I look back on this episode? The fact that there are hints leading to Prometheus being Quentin Lance, for sure. And the fact So It Begins means that we're going to get more of who this Prometheus character is. But moving on to random questions, since the timer did go off a few moments ago. I only have two, and the first one is, so what? Does Lance drinking so much that he blacks out and masquerades as Prometheus to get his revenge on Oliver for losing his daughters? Is that what they're going for here? Or are we seeing another mind control trick on Lance like Malcolm did to Thea to get her kill Sarah back in season 3? It's kind of what I mentioned back in the Shocking Moments segment, but it's pretty much my questions now. Is that what they're leading to towards this? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. But my last question is, will Oliver tell the recruits about his connection to the Bratva before it comes out to the public? Because I have no doubt that Susan Williams is going to expose that story now that she has a photo of Oliver in Russia from 5 years ago. So what do you think about that? But moving on to the predictions, based off the promo for 507, it looks like there's a new vigilante in town. Based off the synopsis, though, it reads that when the bodies of two criminals are dumped at SCPD, Oliver realizes there is a new vigilante in Star City. The team is split about whether they should stop someone who is helping keep the city safe. Diggle is frustrated with his new situation, and Thea fights for Lance, who confesses a shocking secret. Meanwhile, in flashbacks, Oliver finally sits down with Konstantin Kovar. So there is that. Now, new questions, though. I have to say that I approve of this new Vigilante's all-black covered head-to-toe armor that he has. Now, that is how you conceal your identity. I can't tell what color hair he has. I can't tell what kind of hair, fish features, eyes, nothing. I can't tell any of that. I can't tell if he has a tattoo or anywhere. I can't even tell if it's a guy or a girl or not. It's most likely a guy, though, based on the physical structure of them. But you can't tell with that getup going on. So I definitely approve of this Vigilante's cover. Team Arrow definitely needs to take some notes on about that, because that definitely hides who they are underneath that. Although as an audience member, I'm frustrated with the fact that I have no idea who this Vigilante could be. Anyways, so question, are we really going to believe that Lance is Prometheus? Is that what his shocking secret's going to be to Thea? And also, is Diggle's frustration because of the fact that he has to live life as a fugitive? Is it because he doesn't have any possible way to expose the team that framed him? I guess we're going to have to find out to see what happens next. But guys, since this is 506, that means this next episode dealing with the new vigilante is the next one before we have a little break with the American Thanksgiving, and then it is the crossover event. They already released the quick little teaser promo for that, so go check it out at the CW Network YouTube channel. And that's about it, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you want, tell me what you want to see in the upcoming episodes. Tell me what you thought about this episode in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. Link for that is down below. I usually reblog promos, web clips, quotes, GIFs, synopses, all of that. Also, it's connected to my WordPress account, so you can check everything out through that. Follow me there if you want, and that's it. So thank you guys for tuning in once again. Hope you come back next week to see what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, this is Mel, wishing you a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.